You know, when we think of the Roman army, we usually picture epic battles, shiny armor, and those iconic rectangular shields. And yeah, they were absolute masters of the battlefield. But what if I told you their greatest weapon wasn't a sword or a catapult, but a shovel? Seriously. The secret to Roman domination, the engine that powered their incredible expansion, was their ability to build a fully functional fortified city, literally anywhere, in just a few hours. These weren't just a few tents pitched around a campfire. These were military masterpieces called castra. Every single night, whether they were deep in enemy territory in Gaul or trekking across the deserts of Syria, the Roman legions would halt their march and build an identical camp. It was non-negotiable. Imagine this. 16,000 exhausted, heavily armed soldiers finish a grueling 20-mile march. But their day isn't over. The moment they stop, they transform into a well-oiled construction crew. Surveyors race ahead to pick the perfect spot, ideally on a gentle slope with access to water and wood. They use a special instrument called a groma to lay out a perfect rectangle. Then chaos erupts, but it's organized chaos. Half the soldiers stand guard, forming a protective ring while the other half gets to work. With pickaxes and shovels they carried themselves, they dig. They dig a massive ditch, sometimes up to 12 feet wide and 9 feet deep, all around the perimeter. The earth they dig out, they don't just toss it aside. They use it to build a rampart, a huge earthen wall right behind the ditch. And to top it all off, they drive a line of sharpened wooden stakes, which every soldier also carried, into the top of the rampart, creating a brutal palisade. Inside this fortress, it was a city in miniature. The layout was always the same, a perfect grid. You had the commander's tent, the Praetorium, at the center. Main streets, the Via Principalis and Via Praetoria, intersected right there. The Legion's eagle standard, its sacred symbol, had its own shrine. There were designated areas for the cavalry, the auxiliaries, the workshops, a field hospital, even a marketplace. A soldier from a legion in Britain could walk into a brand new camp in Egypt and know exactly where his tent was, where to find the quartermaster, and where the latrines were. It was brilliant. This mobile fortress gave them an incredible advantage. They could never be truly ambushed. At the end of every single day, they had a secure base to rest, recover, and plan the next day's assault. While their enemies were sleeping out in the open, the Romans were safe behind a wall and a ditch. It demoralized their opponents. How do you fight an enemy that brings their own castle with them? So the next time you think about Roman military might, don't just picture the legionary in battle. Picture him with a shovel in his hand, covered in dirt, building the logistical backbone of the greatest empire the world has ever seen. The Roman legion didn't just conquer the world, they built it one camp at a time.